tools, and labor. In these hopeful days, Maggie and Charlie finally have a moment to reflect. They sit together outside on a sagging porch step. The air tastes of salt again, rather than mold, a sign that the floodwaters are receding. Maggie is the first to speak, thanking Charlie for stepping in when the gunfire started, for caring about the town's fate. Charlie shrugs, downplaying his bravery, but she presses a hand against his shoulder, letting him know his contribution matters. She tells him that in the face of heartbreak, the choice to stand up and protect others is the essence of hope. He hesitates, recalling the life he couldn't save in that fire, but for once he doesn't spiral into guilt. Instead, he takes comfort in the fact that redemption can be a continuous effort, not a single moment that erases everything else. As reconstruction moves forward, Charlie finds he can't leave. Cedar Bay feels like a place where he belongs, where his particular skills, his experiences, and even his past regrets can be used for something good. He organizes a small volunteer firefighting unit, training them to handle emergencies until the official fire department is back on its feet. During breaks, he checks on Shadow, who has become a roving ambassador of happiness, sniffing at toolboxes, wagging its tail at everyone it meets. When news arrives that Cedar Bay will receive more funds and materials, people applaud. The entire town hums with a sense of collective determination. Crews work long hours in blistering heat, sometimes pausing only when the pain of exhaustion or old injuries flares. Yet each day, the battered skyline of uprooted trees and broken buildings changes slightly, reflecting slow but steady progress. Eventually, the battered roads reopen enough for trucks carrying lumber, drywall, and shingles to roll in. Fresh boards replace rotting timbers, and new windows appear in place of shattered glass. Color returns to the streets in the form of paint, flowers, and even simple chalk drawings by children. Charlie can hardly believe how quickly the resilience of human spirit can transform devastation into renewal. One golden morning, he walks along a rebuilt section of the boardwalk, Shadow padding beside him. The puppy peers over the edge at gentle waves that lap the shore, as if marveling at how something so destructive could also appear so calm. Charlie gazes across the beach, recalling how he once stood on the same spot in uniform, scanning for signs of trouble. Now, there is no alarm bell, no urgent call to action, just an invitation to breathe and appreciate that life moves on. That's when Maggie arrives, wearing a clean sweatshirt instead of a mud-spattered volunteer vest. She joins him quietly, leaning on the railing. They watch fishermen returning to what's left of the pier, children waving to them, families collecting driftwood for bonfires. Maggie remarks that Cedar Bay is looking more like its old self each day. Charlie nods, a bittersweet note in his expression. He confesses that he once believed he could never move past his failure as a firefighter, that he would always be the man who couldn't save a child. Yet now he realizes how many people he and Shadow have helped since the storm. It doesn't remove the sorrow of the past, but it reshapes his understanding of himself. Maggie reminds him that redemption is not about undoing tragedies. It's about transforming pain into purpose. She places a hand on his shoulder, and he allows himself a rare moment of genuine gratitude. In the reflection of the sunrise on the water, they see a town that still bears deep scars but stands determined to heal. Cedar Bay's people demonstrate their strength in daily acts of rebuilding, in the way they support each other, and in how they've rallied around survivors like Shadow, a small symbol of resilience. Looking down at the puppy nuzzling against his leg, Charlie feels a quiet clarity. He and Shadow saved each other. In the wreckage, where despair seemed inevitable, they found a reason to keep going, and that reason led to Maggie, to the volunteers, and to Cedar Bay's rebirth. He once thought guilt would define him forever, but now he sees another path, to remain in Cedar Bay, to be part of its resurgence, to protect what he can, and to share in the triumphs that come from unity. In time, Hank Mercer and his cronies face legal consequences. The stolen supplies are returned. More relief efforts pour in, bolstering the city's recovery. The storms subside, both the natural one that ravaged the shoreline and the human storm of greed and intimidation that followed. The community center continues to serve as a hub, but now it's filled with talk of rebuilding schools, restoring the library, replanting the uprooted trees along the waterfront. Laughter becomes a more common sound than weeping. Cedar Bay will never be exactly as it was before. No place hit by such destruction ever returns to its old normal. Yet the new normal is a tapestry woven from solidarity, perseverance, and rediscovered faith in one another. Houses may be simpler, and some buildings might bear permanent scars, but the spirit is stronger than ever. People greet each other with hugs and shared memories of survival. They trade stories of the loved ones they lost and vow to honor them in everything they do. Charlie, standing on the freshly repaired boardwalk, looks over the water at a sunrise blooming in pinks and golds. Shadow sits at his feet, tail brushing gently against the wood. He breathes in the salty air. For the first time in years, he feels at peace. He thinks of the child he couldn't save, not with despair, but with a solemn respect for how fragile life is, and how vital it is to keep trying to save what we can. By taking responsibility, by choosing compassion over fear, he has found a path forward. In the distance, he hears children laughing as they chase each other along the shore. Maggie calls his name, inviting him to join the group, clearing debris down the beach. Shadow perks up at the sound of activity. Charlie smiles, scooping the puppy into his arms. He walks toward Maggie and the others, each step a testament to the lesson he has learned. Caring is not a weakness. It's the only way to rebuild both a community and one's own heart. The storm stole homes, roads, and precious memories, but it also revealed the unbreakable will of Cedar Bay. It showed that even in destruction, there is a chance for rebirth. Charlie Lawson returned to the town he once fled, believing he was too broken to mend. Instead, he discovered that saving a small puppy could be the first step in saving himself. Through kindness, cooperation, and unwavering resolve, Cedar Bay rose from the rubble, reminding everyone that hope can outlast any storm. Even now, Charlie sometimes awakens in the night, haunted by faint echoes of sirens and raging flames. But when he looks over and sees Shadow curled beside him, safe and sound, and hears the gentle hum of a town rebuilding, he remembers. The past may shape who we are, but it doesn't have to trap us. By confronting the darkness, by daring to protect others, and by letting compassion conquer fear, one finds redemption. And in that redemption lies the power to transform suffering into something that gives life renewed meaning. For Charlie and Shadow, for Maggie and all of Cedar Bay, the storm will always be part of their history. Yet it is no longer the final word. Each day they step into the sunlight is an affirmation that loss can lead to unity, destruction can inspire rebuilding, and guilt can give way to purpose. Ultimately, the greatest salvations come from the smallest acts of caring, picking up a trembling puppy from the ruins, sharing food with a stranger, or standing firm when cruelty rears its head. Such actions, multiplied across a battered community, become a lifeline of hope. In the end, Cedar Bay stands not as a monument to devastation, but as a testament to human resilience. Charlie Lawson, once lost in guilt, now helps neighbors rebuild their homes, rescue stranded pets, and comfort those who still mourn. Maggie Torres, guided by her unwavering belief in second chances, continues to direct volunteer efforts. And little Shadow, bounding along the beach, remains a cherished reminder that even the most fragile life can spark a powerful redemption. This story of a broken town and a broken man proves that compassion can heal even the deepest wounds. The storm took much, but it could not extinguish the spark of hope. Through unity, courage, and the willingness to protect what remains, Cedar Bay is reborn, stronger than before. And for Charlie Lawson, who once believed he had nothing left to offer, this rebirth offers peace, purpose, and a sense of home he thought was lost forever.